So Kaylee and I are returning to Masters of Horror to finish this shit up because we started watching it together when
we met.
Yeah, when we met, before we even lived together, when she was
Yeah.
still in Colorado and we were watching stuff over FaceTime. We started watching the Master of Horror series and we just dropped off.
Just so many other things to watch.
So many things. We always do this.
Yeah.
We always do this. We start it with these intentions of really following through, and then 80 other things come up.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, how do we keep it all straight? And we just can't. So the V word, which is vagina. The
Valentine.
vampire.
Vampire!
So once again, another vampire. Right? We literally just talked about Fright Night about 4 seconds ago.
We did.
And here we are with the Ernest Dickerson vampire episode. Now, Ernest Dickerson is a director that did Bones with Snoop Doggy Dogg, or his much better film and an awesome horror film, and that is Tales from the Crypt presents Demon Knight.
Oh!
Yes. A fantastic film. Definitely one of my faves of the 90s. And he also did a bunch of episodes, like 11 episodes of The Walking Dead. And he also did an episode of Fear Itself, which is like the season 3 of, do you like my quotations with 3 fingers?
Oh, yeah.
In season 3?
Season 3.
I'm super clever. He did an episode of that, and that was like a reboot of the show on a different channel because Showtime canceled this after it, and somebody else, like a primetime network, picked it up. But because of that, couldn't be R-rated, so it lost that charm and only went 1 season. And I intend to watch that show next, but who knows when we'll get to it. All right, so this movie starts out with kind of like a product placement promo for Doom 3. We get like a lot of Doom 3 of this guy playing it, and I just don't know why. I really don't get it. Like, I promise you guys, like, if I ever make a film, and I intend to one day, if I ever make a film, there's going to be things that I can assure you I'm not going to do. And one of those things is like, if my actor's playing a video game,
Don't know how to play a video game.
he's going to play the video game. It's going to match up. The controller's going to be on. Now, the controller in this is on. I'll give it that at least, right? At least the light is lit up because it's a Xbox 360 controller. And on that one, you have the home button in the middle, and then there's 4 lights around it. And the first one is player 1 and so on around the ring. Mm-hmm. And this one does have player 1 lit up. So at least they have the controller on.
Yeah.
But the movement on his joysticks, he's going like this, and he's just like this with them and pressing. He likes to press the like A and like Y button a lot, and it's a shooter game, and all he's doing is shooting, and it's like, that's the trigger.
Literally, like, the main button that you
So
use.
aim, shoot, move character.
Yeah.
Right? That's like 90% of a shooter, right? And the other buttons do stuff, jump, punch, whatever. But regardless, what he's doing on the controller, and he's moving it like this, and the character's looking straight and shooting, I just don't get it. I don't understand why it's so hard to just give him a controller and let him play. I don't care if it looks like shit. I don't care if it looks like he knows how to play the game or not. I don't give a shit. I want the controls to match up with it more than I want to believe that he's the wizard from the Fred Savage movie. Right?
Yeah, I definitely would like the controls to match up. It's an irritation for sure.
I have a lot of these. And I get it. Like, in some instances, like how shitty extras are at playing pool in the background of scenes. Like, I get it. They've been there for like 8 hours.
They just don't
They're
care.
tired of playing. But like, if you watch, even the main characters, right? Because they're trying to act their lines and whatever.
Right.
Like the pool scene in Billy Madison when the father is discussing Billy's future, and they're playing pool or whatever the fuck they're doing. And they're just kind of randomly hitting the ball around the table. And I'm like, are you aiming for literally anything as you play this scene out? I don't get it.
Yeah.
So there's just frustrations like that to me that I swear, I promise I would never do. It drives me nuts every time there has to be 80 guys on the set that are watching this and being like, that's not fucking how you play.
I know.
And that doesn't match up. Please, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
But they literally put a demo for Doom 3 on the screen.
Yeah.
And then turned on an Xbox so that the light would light up. And just gave him the controller. And the guy's like, I've never played before.
Never played a video game.
Like, if I was the actor and they were like, you have to play the demo, I'd be like, okay. And I would try to at least match the movements.
Yes.
Right? When the guy's not moving, I wouldn't be like,
Makes no sense.
this person's never played a video game in
Yeah.
their life. Moving on. I spent like 5 minutes on that, but I can't. Okay. So, the entirety of this story is two guys trying to prove to one another that they're not the V word. They're not pussies. Right? That's all it is. You want to come to this, mortuary with me
Yeah.
and prove that you're not a pussy? And it's like, yeah, I'm not a pussy. I'm not a pussy. And they go there, and then we see some things that I just don't understand. There's a few things here that I'm completely not understanding. Number one, why are they so shocked to see dead bodies in a mortuary?
Yeah.
Number two, why are they surprised to see blood in a mortuary?
Yep.
Number three, why are they worried about bodies being drained of blood in a mortuary?
Yeah.
They literally drain your body of blood and then pump formaldehyde in you. So maybe they just took the blood out first and didn't put the formaldehyde in. These are all simple explanations for a mortuary.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, there's dead bodies. Now, the thing that they should be friggin' weirded out by, and this is mostly just because this place isn't up to code, is why are all these bodies out of the fridge?
Yes.
Right?
That would be more of a, but it could be very air conditioned. It could be temperature controlled.
It
in
could
that
be, but they
area.
would know that. They would say something like, it's freezing in here. Right? So, like, no. That would be my biggest thing. I'd be like, okay, this place needs a little inspection from the Better Bureau Business, or Better Business Bureau, the BBB.
Bureau business.
Yeah, like that many bodies out without being refrigerated, that place would be
Dangerous
stinking.
and very smelly. Yes.
Yeah. So that's an issue. And then now this one I might be able to explain away, but when he is changing, his friend comes to complete the cycle or whatever, and he's like kills the dad and he's bleeding him, right? And in this, the one thing I do really like about this is the way the vampire gets the blood by tearing someone's throat right off of their freaking neck. There's like the whole neck comes undone.
Pretty cool.
That's a fast way to insanguinate somebody.
Yep.
But he's like, hurry up. It doesn't work if he's not alive. Suggesting, because there's a lot of horror movies and there's a lot of vampire movies that very much state like the blood is no longer edible when the host dies. Now, why that would be, I have no idea.
I
It has
know.
to be
It has the life force.
in it, right? Like
That's
blood.
part of it.
Once blood like starts to like coagulate,
yeah.
and like I would understand that it wouldn't be, but it doesn't coagulate that fast. So you'd have a little time after the body died to drink it. But in this, it very much suggests to me that the vampires in this cannot feed on blood
That's dead.
that's dead. Unfortunately, that completely contradicts the entire premise of this, where they go to a mortuary where a vampire has been feeding on dead bodies.
He was feeding not on the dead bodies.
But all
he
those
was feeding
he fed on the guy who works there that they were
Yes.
going to, but he was in addition because the other bodies he said didn't have any blood in them.
Yeah, but that would just be
No. There's blood all over the
Standard
ground.
practice.
He is drinking the blood from those bodies. You might be right. Okay,
No,
you're right.
you-
Let's just say that because it makes sense. The bodies are drained because it wasn't the vampire who's
Yeah.
draining. We never do see him drinking from a dead body.
no.
So it is possible, but they very much set it up like he's drinking from all those bodies.
Yeah.
The reason
it
they're
is
all
set up.
out is
Yeah.
because he took them all out to drain them of their blood. It doesn't make any sense on why they're out of their freezers or fridges or whatever if he didn't bring them out to drink them, because no mortician would keep all of those bodies out like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously that's like a total mess up if he was drinking their blood, because it's like stated that they cannot drink the blood from dead bodies. So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't got anything on that one. I don't know. Or maybe it's only when you're going to be turned, you have to take the life from somebody. And then once you're turned, you're able to drink dead blood.
Maybe. Yeah, that's possible.
Because it doesn't make any sense that the person has to be alive thing. But I guess as long as you contain it, the body can die. So like if you grab the blood up into a container and then the body dies, you can then drink it, because they have bags of blood that they drink from in these movies all the time.
Sure.
And those bodies, like they took all the blood out of them and put them in bags and then drink them later. Their bodies are dead. And the blood is on the side, right? Like what?
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Anyway. We get Michael Ironside here. He's not much used, but whatever. Let's see. Okay. Here's a huge question I got. This makes no sense to me at all. When his friend and him encounter the vampire, his friend's like leg breaks or whatever, falling down the stairs, right? Nasty break. Then he then takes his friend down another flight of stairs.
Oh my God, I know.
Right? Then his friend gets attacked, his throat's ripped out, and then the guy who's still surviving jumps out a second-story window. How fucking tall is this building?
Dude.
That they came down a flight of stairs, fell down a flight of stairs, then came down another flight of stairs, then he jumps out a second-story window. So that would suggest to me that they're on the 4th floor, but when we see it from the outside, it's only 2 stories tall.
Yeah.
So can you explain this one to me?
No, I can't.
I got nothing on this.
I can't. It should just be like 2 flights.
Once they came
One
down the
flight,
stairs, there's no window to jump out to
for the
the
second floor.
But they came down 2 sets of different stairs
I can't explain it.
and then jump out a second-story window.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't remember what the building looked like outside, so I can't even say
It ain't 4
that there
stories
was
tall.
another story or something.
It ain't
in
4
there.
stories tall. It
I
ain't even
don't
3
know.
stories tall. I'd have to go back and look at it. But I'm pretty sure it's only 2 stories tall. I'm almost positive. So that's a huge continuity error with the house. But hey, Lindsay Wallace's house that Annie goes to visit or to babysit in has a freaking no living room on the right
Yeah.
when she goes to open the door. And then when Linda and Bob walk in, there's a living room on the right.
Yeah.
It just appears.
It's just
Or the
there.
handle on the Doyle, the friggin' not Doyle, the Doyle house, the Tommy Doyle house is on the other side of the door than the door that swings in. So I mean,
There's
these
tons of
kinds of
stuff like
things
that.
are in tons of movies. Don't get me wrong, but to show if I need to see the house
I would
because I
too.
swear they show it from the outside and it ain't that tall.
I believe you.
Yeah. Now I gotta throw it on. Now I gotta look. I'll just fast forward through it really quick. I'm not watching the whole thing again.
No, definitely
This
not.
is definitely one of the weaker ones.
Yes. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of this at all.
When he goes home, he calls the cops 3 times in a row. I like this because, like in most movies, they call once, and they're like, "There's a vampire," and then the cops are like, "Yeah, no prank calls," and they hang up, and then you're like, "Okay, you compose yourself," and you're thinking, "Okay, call them back and be like, all right, somebody's getting raped,
Right,
Whatever,
there's something
get the
else.
cops there.
Yeah.
Don't tell them it's a vampire. That's just stupid."
Yeah.
Right? So, but the fact that he calls back 3 different times to tell them the same shit
Right.
is like, aren't you in college?
I know.
Like,
I know. He should have come up with some other, and he sort of tries to change it a little bit, like where he's just like, "My friend's dying."
sure.
Like, you know, but
Yeah.
they like ignore him. They're just like, "Stop calling." Like 3 times in a
3 times in
row
a row.
is pretty shocking. Like a prank call once I would believe,
Yeah.
but 3 times, like if they call back
Yeah.
consecutively, and you're 911, you're like really gonna think that's a joke.
Well, this should have turned into the scene from Die Hard, right, where John McClane's calling in on the radio, And she's like, if you call again, we're gonna have to send the cops down there. And he's like, good, send the cops, bring them right down here and have them arrest me, right? And it's just then even worse than that. He then calls his father in the middle of the night, frantic. I need your help. And his dad's like, it's late, don't call. I'll call you tomorrow, and hangs up. Bro.
So awful.
Bro.
And he's like, he's frantic and crying and is like, I need your help. And
this is literally why we exist.
Yes.
Like, this is what parents are for. We're there for those moments. Like, there is no too late. No. There is no I'm too, like, tired or whatever when your kid is in fucking peril.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like, my kid calls me. I don't care what just happened. I don't care how tired I am. I don't care if I just went through the freaking... I don't care if I just went through World War III. Right?
Yeah.
And I finally just got home.
Like, we need help.
Instantaneously, I'm up. I don't care what my day was like. Yeah. I don't care if I was drugged.
But he's a horrible father. That's the thing.
He is a horrible father.
He's supposed to be like this total asshole, and he definitely is in this instance.
This is insane to me.
Yeah.
I just can't, for the life of me, imagine one of my daughters calling me in the middle of the night. Which, if your kid calls you in the middle of the night, like
wrong.
3 a.m,
yeah,
something's wrong.
Yes.
They're not calling you to be like, hey, Dad, just wanted to say hi. No. Okay? Unless they're in like Europe and they don't remember that there's a time difference or something. But if your kid's calling you in the middle of the night and they're frantic, especially, but as soon as you see your kids calling you, when you get a phone call at 3 a.m,
by pretty much anybody,
it's a problem.
It's usually something is wrong.
Nobody calls you at that time unless there's an issue.
No.
Right? So that to me is just like the fact that he answers that. Like, don't even fucking answer. Why are you even answering?
Yeah, if you're just going to say it's too late.
Why? What's the point of answering?
Yeah.
If you're not going to do anything. Like, is there somebody he would have done something for? Because it's just, to me, it's like, don't even, like, just let the phone ring or just pick it up and, like, leave it off the hook or unplug it or something. Like, I don't want to be disturbed. But to answer it and just be like, why are you calling? Like, call me tomorrow, hang up. Like, what?
Yeah.
What an asshole. I'm glad he's dead.
Me too.
100%. I like when the friend is like, he walks in on him, he's drinking water, and it's like pouring through his throat.
Cool. I did like that part, actually.
Kaylee was really put off by, and I guess this was the first time she'd ever seen this, someone eating pizza with a fork and knife.
Oh, yeah. I was so confused. I was like, why is she eating it like that?
You've never been to someone's house where the parents are, like, very proper.
And
they're like, in our house, we don't eat with our hands. We're not primitives.
No, well, yeah, but I just have never, I don't ever remember seeing anyone eat pizza that way. Because pizza is, like, made to be held.
Like, there's people who eat their hamburgers with a fork and knife. It's crazy to me. Yes, these are hand foods for sure. But there are people.
Bizarre, super
they
bizarre.
Eat chicken wings with with a fork and knife. They eat, all the finger foods.
Yeah.
Chicken fingers. They're literally called fingers.
I like finger foods.
Sure.
I like using my hands to eat. I don't know.
Sure.
Feels easier sometimes.
I don't want to eat like hummus with my hands.
No, or like soup. You're like, not like that kind of stuff, but like other things that you can eat with your fingers. I like those.
It is odd though that we won't eat soup with our hands, but we will eat like chicken wings or like,
That's not odd.
Chips or something, and then lick our fingers.
Yeah,
like the idea is like you're because with chicken wings, I have stuff like soup all over my fingers, and then I'm like.
But you can eat soup more efficiently with a spoon, and you can eat chicken fingers and chicken wings more efficiently, like by holding it versus.
I agree, but I find it funny that hey, put that down right now.
We have a puppy.
He's loose and he's a maniac. Anyways, the dog always knows.
The dog always
Yep,
knows.
I think we missed that in
this isn't
Fright
Wes
Night.
Craven,
But the dog always knows,
dog
and
always knows.
everything we watch,
Yes.
everything we've been watching lately, there's always a dog.
That's why we got a dog.
Who's barking? No, he'll
know.
Not yet.
He knows.
He's not there yet. So what color is Coca-Cola?
Brown.
So
it's always been brown. Even cherry Coca-Cola is brown.
Yeah. So the mom asks her son to clean up the Coke or whatever it is on the carpet, and it is clearly blood.
Bright red.
It is clearly blood.
I was so confused why she said that. I'm like, what does she think Coca-Cola looks like? Has she ever had a Coke before?
Clearly not.
What? Red?
That would be big red soda. But
Ew.
But soda doesn't look like blood. Right? It's thick.
Yeah.
You would think like tomato soup.
Sure.
Like a really dark tomato soup maybe. I mean, even that doesn't look like blood, but it looks more like blood than Coke. I'll tell you that. Pomegranate juice.
Yes.
Right?
Cherries.
Something. But not Coke.
Definitely not.
Beets. Like beet juice is like that real red.
Yeah.
That
beet
real
juice
dark
stains
red. Oh my god.
Very easily. You
So
touch a beet
easy.
and it's permanent.
Oh my god. The first time you ever eat beets and then go to the bathroom and then you're like, I need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm bleeding to death out of my asshole.
Yes.
Oh my god. I remember the first time I ever had beets. I called my friggin' stepmom who's a nurse and I was like, am I dying? I'm like, I think I am. And she's like, didn't we have beets last night? I was like, so? And she told me and I was like, oh. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah.
Oh, I know now. Anytime I eat beets, I know exactly what to look for. I look like I was beat up. And no one at the table realizes he's completely fucked up. Is this how he normally acts?
They think the mom thinks that he's hungover or something, or still drunk.
Because he spilled red Coke all over the ground while he was drunk.
Yeah, but his sister, I don't know. They just this is kind of that trope. I feel like that happens a lot where when there's a teenager acting ultra bizarro, the family's always they're just a teen.
They're just a teen,
that's normal. So that's what's happening here. But 100%, if they just didn't talk at all, no words, and they looked like that, 100% you would notice and be like, how are you feeling? Was everything okay?
His sister in this is the little girl from Silent Hill.
Yes.
And this probably would be around the same year. Very, very close to the same year. Because I think this is 2006, and I think Silent Hill is 2006. So I want to say this is maybe be the exact same year, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. Probably am. And I like how the mom's arguing with the daughter, and the daughter comes at her with total logic that wins the argument, and she's like, you can't use logic till you're 15.
Yeah. That was funny.
What? And yeah, he full takes he goes with the Michael Myers approach with Dr. Mixer freaking needle through the eyeball on Michael Ironside's vampire, pokes out both his eyes, and then cuts off his head. That was a pretty cool scene.
It was alright, yeah.
And then he lets his friend go, but then ties himself to a table to be burned alive in the sun.
Yeah,
why does his friend get to survive and he doesn't? Why does his friend get to go to New York?
When
and
he's
why didn't he go with him?
Well, especially when he's you're gonna come after my family. If you ever come after my sister, I'm gonna kill you or whatever. And then he just lets him go and then kills himself. So it's how do you... Well,
how are you gonna kill her?
He could totally come after your sister. I don't know. That was very confusing to me. I didn't like the ending. I was very meh on this whole episode.
Yeah, definitely.
There's just many other good ones, and for me, this one didn't work. There's a couple cool effects.
How'd you like that homage to the original Dracula? I don't drink wine. Oh my god, silly.
I didn't like that.
I just do not understand this ending. Why he kills himself but not his friend? Why they don't make a pact to do it together? Or if the friend's listen, I'll leave town and I don't want to die, and the other one's but we need to die, or to have some kind of fight about it, and then he lets him know, and he the other one's very dead set on dying. No, I can't. I'll be a monster. And the other one's I can control it, and I'll go to a place, and I promise to only, take out bad people, or hunt down the people who did this to us, or something.
Yeah.
But you go ahead. I'm just gonna kill myself. But don't go after my family. I'll come after you, but I'm gonna die.
But I'm gonna be dead. So yeah.
The end makes no sense.
Yeah.
Subpar episode. Not really worth talking about, but that controller scene.
Both most infuriating thing.
Most infuriating, and the red Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. I don't know what's next. We will find out. Until then.